Hello, future leaders and lifelong learners. Are you ready to dive into the heart of Walsh University and the ever-evolving world of higher education? I'm Teresa Fox, and you're tuned in to Cav Chats. We're not just talking, we're connecting you to the pulse of our campus and the headlines shaping universities everywhere. Think of Cav Chats as your backstage pass to the stories, debates, and innovations that matter to you most, right here at Walsh University and beyond. So whether you're a student, faculty, coach, administrator, or just passionate about higher ed, buckle up. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cav Chats here in beautiful, wintry Northeast Ohio. We have a beautiful, wintry day here, and I'm just so delighted to have our wonderful guest here, former mayor of our own hometown city. We have a wonderful town and gown relationship, and our hometown mayor, North Canton former mayor, Stephen Wilder. We have him here today, so welcome, Mayor Wilder.
Thank you.
Mayor Wilder is a retired law enforcement leader, a longtime public servant whose career in public safety and city government has spanned more than 4 decades, a U.S. Navy veteran. So we have a veteran in our midst, former North Canton police chief. He was elected mayor of our city in 2019 and went on to serve multiple terms, earning recognition for his integrity, community leadership, and steady leadership. So welcome, Mayor Wilder. We're so delighted to have you. Now, first question is, how do I reference you? Are you Officer Wilder? Are you Chief Wilder? Are you Mayor Wilder? Are you Mr. Wilder? What's the right answer here? You've served so many hats.
Well, Ms. Fox, Teresa Fox, thank you very much for the introduction, for me to be a part of Cav Nation this morning. And yes, it is kind of confusing with all the hats I wore. Officer Wilder, when I was teaching the DARE program to our students, promoted to chief, and then eventually mayor. So I answered all 3. I'll even answer to Steve, but all 3 are very good.
Well,
Thank
you'll
you.
always be Mayor Wilder to hear
Perfect.
us here in Walsh University.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to you, sir. And I understand you even emailed Governor DeWine about this.
Yes, actually, I wrote him a note. I thanked them for, I just said it was an honor for me to serve as mayor during his terms as governor, and I appreciated his support over the years. And when I signed my note, I just signed it Steve Wilder. And he wrote me back a very kind note, thanking me for my service of what I tried to do for our community and better it. And he said, oh, by the way, you never lose the title of mayor. So Mayor Wilder is fine.
I love that. I love that. Mayor Wilder. All right. That it is. So have you always lived in North Canton? Did you grow up in this area?
Good question. No, I'll give you a short rundown. I was born in Findlay, Ohio. My father was a salesman when he came out of World War II, became a salesman out of Cleveland. So we lived in Findlay, and then in 57, we moved to Fairview Park, outside of Cleveland, and then he was transferred to Canton for opening a division of his company down here. Okay. So we moved here in 59, and I went ahead and went to elementary school at Avondale, Taft Junior High. Then he was transferred to Southfield, Michigan. So he was working in Detroit. So I spent a couple years in school there. Okay. Then in 68, he was transferred back to Canton. So it's been a journey. So I graduated from Glenwood. And an interesting thing about that, there's 5 children in our family. And believe it or not, through all those moves, we all graduated from Glenwood or Glen Oak. Wow. It was amazing, yes. Wow. And then I've lived up in Kent when I was going to school up there, and a couple other areas in Ohio, and then also lived in Brunswick, Maine for a year.
Oh, wow. So you have run the gamut, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am. But I am here since 1980. I moved back here permanently.
Now, were you familiar with Walsh College growing up?
You know, it's interesting. No, I really wasn't. My goal was I wanted to play Division I soccer, and I learned to play soccer up in Michigan, and unfortunately, I didn't quite have the grades to get into college. But short story was I was facing the draft back in 68 and 69 when I graduated, but I got picked up at Kent State to go to school there, and so my goal was I wanted to play D1, as they say, and go to get a degree there. I wanted to be a park ranger.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting.
It was.
That was your first career choice.
Yeah, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. So what inspired you to go into law enforcement?
That's a very good question. Actually, It was my brother, Ken. He was in the Navy for about 11 years and decided to get out, became a police officer in Brunswick, Maine. And I went up and visited him after graduation and saw what he did there, and I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. But what really focused me was I was a freshman at Kent State University when May 4th occurred that weekend. And for those that don't know what May 4th is, we have young listeners. What happened at Kent State on May 4th? Well, at Kent State on May 4th, unfortunately, we had protests occurring for a number of reasons, primarily the war in Vietnam. And we had protesters there, some on campus, students, and some off campus. So you were there that day? Yes, I didn't. Through that weekend, I saw what was happening to our policemen and firemen as they were trying to control the crowd, also, put out fires that were occurring on campus. And what I saw was their total disrespect and the onslaught from not so much the verbal things, but some of the fire hoses being cut up and setting the ROTC building on fire. And anyways, that affected me. And and it just seemed like at that time, the police officers were kind of, frankly, seen as Neanderthals. Okay? Oh, yeah. Well, that was Vietnam. And the protesting. And then, of course, the shootings that occurred on Monday. I had just come across the comments and just got to Eastway for lunch when the shootings occurred, and we had deaths and injuries there. 4 dead, and then about 13, I think, injured. So tragic. I changed my major from sciences to law enforcement, criminal justice studies, and that's what I graduated Kent with a degree in criminal justice studies. Wow, that is really amazing that that's what inspired you. Wow, I did not know that you were there when that happened. That's amazing. I just felt that the change had to occur towards the lack of respect for law enforcement. Sure. So were there any other experiences in your early career that sort of helped shape your character, your leadership style? Well, that's very good, yes. There's a number of things. I'm very blessed to have a wonderful mother and father. And I saw how my father served in World War II and how he came back earning the Bronze Star, Silver Star, and then my mom being patient, raising children. There was 3 of us at that time. And I just saw the patience and the hard work that they put into raising a family and getting back and giving back to the community. And that's what I really saw. It affected me, I think, to always give back and have a career of service or something like that. So I give a lot of credit to my parents. And then just as time goes on, through some life experiences, trying to get into law enforcement was here in the county back then was difficult in the 70s. So I took a number of tests to get hired, but back then you get a lot of theory in college, but when they don't give you the experience until you get out of school. And, as facing civil service tests, eye tests, physicals, and things like that. I scored well on the test, but my eyes kind of seemed to hold me back a little bit. Now, with corrected vision, you can become a police officer. But just going through life. And it's funny how those little things like that can impede a career. Right. And even back then in the 70s, a lot of it was legacy, too. If your father or your uncle, was in law enforcement and you were down on the list, I scored in the top 3 for Canton way back in the early 70s. But I was passed over, and they used my eyesight as one of those. So. But you never know how God works His plan. Everything works out. God has a plan for you. That's right. So it all worked out. But I think, and my brother Ken was a mentor for me. Sure. And to see how he chose law enforcement to be his career. And I think mostly my parents. That's wonderful. And my brothers. Sure. And you worked your way very, very hard, all the way up to serving as chief. Yes. So what are you most proud of during those years in uniform? Well, on a personal note, I was able to come home safe to my wife at that time. We don't have, being married, we didn't have any children.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure the men and women I worked with were safe. And so... And
just coming home every night, that's...
And
how profound is that, just being able to come home?
Yeah, it's very simple, but and just do the best job you can and be fair with people and just do the job that you took an oath to do, to protect and serve your community. And I think the other thing I'm proud of is the relationships I was able to make over my time in law enforcement. Positive relationships.
Yeah.
There's a few negative out there because not everybody likes to be arrested by a police officer, okay? But for the most part, when you treat people fairly and be impartial and just do the job that you swore to do and uphold, things will work out.
So let's talk about Walsh University for a minute. You've had a long relationship with Walsh University since starting probably even before 2019. So when did the relationship with Walsh start? What is your first memory?
Well, actually, we were, before they had a police department, we actually did come out here and patrol, and we handled some radio communications for them. And so, so I'm not familiar. I am familiar with, that part of it. But
were we relatively good back then?
Yes, you're relatively good. You're relatively good.
That's good. That's good.
I knew of President Gizone, but I only met him a couple times. But for the most part, Walsh was low on the radar, okay? However, we did have some incidents where people did come in off campus. And we had a couple incidents where we had to interact. And not because of the Walsh students, but these people that came in off campus. And we had a couple fights and things that we had to intervene on. But I think once... I think Chief Darrow was your first police chief, and I knew Lou from the Sheriff's Department.
I think we had Chief Thomas before.
Oh, yeah,
Chief
Tommy
Darrow.
Thomas. Oh,
Tommy Thomas.
How can you forget Tommy? But and so that relationship started. But I think that what really is remarkable for me was in 2019 when I was elected mayor, and I wanted to make a point to reach out to the new president, Tim Collins, Dr. Collins.
Yes.
Because he came in just in August, and I think I was elected in November and took office in December.
Yes.
So we had, that was our first meeting, and boy, did we hit it off. Because I could see how he was beginning to become invested more than ever. And over time, me learning about Drenda and how she's invested herself here in the university.
President Collins' wife, Drenda Collins.
Yes. So I just said, we have to mend this relationship. I think, no offense to our previous administration, but I just don't think they really embraced our hometown university. How can you have a city our size with a university, of 2,000, let's say it, and not embrace them in some way, shape, or form, and support them and allow them to help support us, either culturally or economically, and or educationally. I mean, we have a higher education institution, I guess you could say, here. So
exactly, one of the biggest employers in town.
If I may say, President Collins and I just kind of hit it off, and in fact, I had him and Drenda flip the switch for our Christmas lights, annual Christmas lighting, and there when I was my first year as mayor. And from that point on, our relationship has always been one of support. I believed in communication, collaboration, and cooperation, and that's what I ran on. And how can we not have that with our hometown university, let alone our North Canton City Schools? That was one of my goals, was to mend our relationship with them and support. I'm very much pro-education, as I learned from my mom and my father, my dad. And, of course, have open government and improve this three-legged stool that I believed in. Good government, open government, communication with our schools, our higher education, and, of course, providing a safe community and economic growth. So Walsh has just been a big part of my life and our university and our city.
Well, one of the things that I very much appreciated over the years during your term as mayor, your terms, is just seeing you at all of our events. You were always so supportive, whether it was the dedication of Founders Plaza or a business club luncheon or any numerous events in between. You were there. We could always count on you to show your steadfast support of us. And for that, I just, on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you for that, because it's not like you weren't a busy man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that compliment, because I looked at the as chief of police, you're a leader in the community now more than ever. And as mayor, you're a leader in the community more than ever. And I felt both of those, you have to serve as an ambassador, okay, for whatever organization. And I just felt it was important for me to participate, or have an opportunity to participate and support, whether it's our North Canton City Schools or a business or our hometown university. And that's part of the job, I think, of being an ambassador and being out, and forming those positive relationships. So it's been a good ride.
Is there a particular story from a Walsh student, a Walsh alum, or a faculty member that's really captured your heart or made an impact on you?
Well, that's a very good question. I remember Dr. Dunphy when he was doing law enforcement skills, and because he's skilled in martial arts.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
yes.
Don't screw around with Dr. Dunphy, okay, students. But anyways, I knew Mike there. But I think as I went on, I just think of Tim Collins for sure, number one.
Yes.
His investment and his wife, Drenda's investment into this community and to these students, that you walk the walk. They love this university. And but I think what kind of captured me a little bit was when Drenda came up with the idea about the soiree. Okay?
Yes.
And the first one. And
our Cavalier soiree.
Soiree.
Yes.
There you go. She's going to get on me for I missaid that.
Okay. It's French.
Okay.
We get it. We understand.
Very good. Okay. So I took Spanish. What can I say? But I think when I saw that happen, I'm going, wow, this is for the students. And how can we help raise money for other students to have a life of understanding and education here? So, but I met a couple girls along the way, students, female students. One was Ashley, and the other one was Addison. I won't say their last names, okay?
Yep.
I don't want to embarrass
them.
Sure. But they came over and they welcomed the mayor and my wife at that time, Mary, and just really made us very comfortable. And over time, just being on campus, your football coach was very kind to me. I got to flip the opening when they had the first home game.
Oh.
I bid on that as the soiree, by the way, okay? Soiree. And so I got to flip the coin there. So Coach was very kind to me. But I just think most of the students that I've ever said hello to, that's the nice thing about this. It's friendly. And there's a sense of kindness, I think, sometimes. So.
We do hear that a lot about our students, that our students are just the caliber of student that we have here, just, they have a sense of character, and that differentiates them from students you might see at another university. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad that you sense that too. So if you were speaking directly to Walsh University students today, what would you want them to know about the importance of giving back to their community? We have service here as a requirement for all of our students. So
yes, I think the mission and part of the vision is for that, to instill integrity and faith, understand values and communication, care, and service. I like to think that most of the students now coming to here have done some kind of service in their undergraduate in high school. But I think it's all about giving back. I saw how that was for my parents, giving back to the community. Through my father's masonry, through our church, and through scouting. I have a strong scouting background, and I grew up with that scout oath and law. And our organization, our movement, has gone through some changes and some battles along the way. But I still believe in those tenets of doing a good turn and duty to God, duty to country, and duty to yourself. And being prepared. And so I think those things still carried over for me. And giving back to your community because other people have put time and money to help get them here. And I think you owe it to your community and your family to provide that care and kindness.
Sure.
So service to me is just, I think it's in my DNA.
Sort of paying it forward.
Yeah.
And you're right, 98% of our students receive some sort of financial aid, whether it's scholarship, grants, or other aid. So
exactly. I think, again, being here at Walsh, I've seen the attention given by the professors and adjunct faculty off and on, the programs that Walsh has offered for the community. And I think that's important when we have the speakers that have been attracted to here, that this brings in the community too. And I think there's that sense of culture. Think of the international students we have here, 40-some countries represented here?
Yes.
And think of the opportunity that's given. So what I'm saying is I think, you do something good every day and just be kind. I don't think there's enough kindness in the world. I know that may sound trite, but I just think that
sometimes it's the easiest things that are the hardest to do.
It is. I mean,
it's a simple concept.
I still believe in manners. Okay, you can say thank you and please, and you can open the door for someone, whether it's a
chivalry.
Man or, I mean, it's there. But sometimes we get lost in our own thoughts and we forget about that. And you still have to take care for yourself.
Sure.
So the tenets that I learned as a boy growing up, and I still believe in those things today. And if you learn a little bit about them in your faith and what you learn in school, the golden rule sort of thing. And you start out early, and some of the service that I've seen here from Walsh is overwhelming sometimes, and they're doing it more.
Actually, Monday is our biggest service day of the year, although we do service all year round. But Martin Luther King Day is Monday, and we send hundreds of students out for a day of service. So
well, I've seen them in our community, and I did my day of service. I cleaned out the storage room in the GLC.
Do you want to say why you did that?
It was a mess. It was a mess.
Well, thank you.
Thank
you for helping out with that service project.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's my
a servant leader till the end, right?
Thank you very much.
Even cleaning out a Walsh storage room. So you were a leader, mayor of our town during a crisis, and that was a few short months after you started your term. COVID hit. And I know it upended us here at the university. We went into really crisis mode, just figuring out everything that needed to change to make our students and campus safe. So what was going on in your mind as mayor during that time and during those initial days?
I had just taken office December 1st, 2019, and then, of course, 2020 hit, and COVID. And so I tried to do the best I could in protecting our community and our employees. And for about the next 2 years, I was taking the information that I was getting nationally and at the state level with some leadership there, much leadership from Governor DeWine at the time. And then we met here every week by Zoom, believe it or not, with our Stark County commissioners, with our Stark County Health Department, Alliance, Maslin, and Canton. And we went through the protocols of what we needed to do. And a lot of the guidance was from the CDC. But how did that affect us? Because I cannot control what's happening outside of our community, but how do we go about keeping day-to-day operations here? So there's a number of things that I had to take into consideration. Well, some of us was our youth activities, youth football, youth baseball, And yet the best thing for our young people were to be outside. Okay, and so we made I made some accommodations with some rules that you could still have football, and working with the parents, organizations of those, and baseball. But, you had to follow the protocols of being masked, keeping clean, keeping your distance, and things like that. There was a time where, throughout that time, we had several of our employees come down with COVID. So what precautions were we doing there for our fire and EM department and our EMTs responding and paramedics and even our police officers? The amount of disinfecting that we had to take into place, expenses that we weren't looking for. And of course, I wanted to keep government open. Government wasn't going to shut down. We are here to serve, and you're going to get all the services that you've, as a taxpayer or as a citizen visiting us, deserve.
Right.
And there was a time where we had to make sure that City Hall came in with a mask and things like that. I think there was one time where I did close the City Hall. But as long as you had an appointment, okay, and you called ahead, or if you came up and went to our atrium, talked to our dispatchers, we would make an accommodation for you. But I think there was one time where it was very severe that I had to take that precaution. But for about 2 years, every Tuesday, I did a podcast or a Zoom meeting after I learned from what the state was doing, what they were recommending, what we learned from our county, and followed those protocols. And the other thing was, how do we have our Christmas tree lighting? And so I went to our staff. This wasn't all about, Mayor Wilder's decision. Right. So we came up with an idea. And for a month of December, on every, I think, Friday night or something, we actually had a drive-up where we had traffic cones out there at night, and we're handing out gifts and things to motorists that come by. And so we did have our own annual tree lighting. The other thing, too, was how did we protect our students? And working with the Superintendent Windorf, what precautions were being taken there. And
Walsh, too.
And Walsh, too. And you had to look at graduations, how you could handle graduations. And so working with the staff at the high school, I did write a letter commending the students that they're living in history. And this is a very historical time where they may not have a prom or a formal graduation. But on the graduation day, I made sure there was a letter that I had written personally to each student and that was handed out with their diplomas or whatever we were doing. And I was there to greet everybody outside, shaking their hands or just waving at their cars and as they drove by. So, but we eventually came out of it. But I think that was one thing that I think you're not going to please everybody on something like this. But we had to take my decision has always been for the greater good of our community.
Sure.
And I felt that the decisions I made were for the greater good and safety of our community. So, but we got out of it.
We did.
And I wasn't going to wring my hands and say, "Oh my gosh, we're not going to do anything." No, we had to go out and purchase properties for development and continue business.
And how would you grade the community's response?
Gosh, I would just have to say thank you, for what they did. Their patience really showed through. Again, I know it was very upsetting. It was upsetting for me, in our livelihoods and in our professions. And I understood that, we had to have some people working from home. But I believe in being here. That's just my personal, because if we're not here working together, we're missing that interaction, those ideas. And Zoom was okay, and it worked fine, and it still works fine now. People are on the podcast. So,
it's a tool in our toolkit now.
But I think our community responded very, very satisfactorily.
Good.
Okay, and with what we were given.
We ultimately decided that we needed to be here too. Part of our value proposition as a small private Catholic institution is that we're here face to face with the students, so we had to be there for them. So we learned a lot, but yeah.
I know and again, it's not. Sometimes you have to make accommodations for people, and I understand, working from home or something. But I think there's a great interaction with an idea sharing when we're face to face with each other.
So looking back on your term as mayor, what do you hope they remember most about your leadership and about North Canton in those years?
Well, gosh, I'd say maybe a couple of things. I never when I was a police officer and eventually a lieutenant in chief, I never had my officers do anything that I wouldn't have done myself. And I believed in leading from the front, walking the walk, as they say. And I tried to do the best job I could in treating people fairly and making positive relationships. And I'd like to think that people will remember that I did do the best I could with what God gave me. And my investment into this community was deep, and we got us. It's been safe. Okay, we're not immune to crime.
Sure,
but I'd like to think that some of the advancements we made with some of our property acquisitions were brought in more economic stability. And a big plus is bringing Diebold, Nixdorf into our community. We are now the world headquarters, or let's say the North America headquarters for Diebold, Nixdorf, and that's 800 to 1,000 employees coming back into our city. My support for our schools got out in front in support of the primary and the intermediate school and supporting the middle school here. So I like to think that to just remember me that
you've made your mark on
my
the city.
selfless service. I think.
Yes, that's great.
Just do the best job I could.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
Oh boy.
And you can say no.
Are you asking me, do I have any regrets?
If you want to interpret it that way.
Okay. Well, Frank Sinatra says in the one song, I think, regrets, I have a few, but too few to mention.
Okay. There we go.
I think the one thing that people may remember is that I'm frustrated that we couldn't get the Hoover District redeveloped. But then again, that's out of my hands. That's owned by a private entrepreneur and businessman. And so, but I maintained open communications with them. So I think if there's one thing that I had to leave on the table was I just couldn't quite get the Hoover complex in the front there, the West Factory, developed.
Sure.
But we have other parts of that Hoover property developed, and that is with Diebold, Nixdorf. And so that's one thing.
A lot of that was out of your control, correct?
Yes. But we tried, okay?
Sure.
And the new mayor, Stroya, is still continuing on those open communications.
Godspeed, Mayor Stroya.
Yes, Matthew, good luck. But I just felt that just trying to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. That's a little quote there from one of our famous generals, General Colin Powell. You do the right thing for the right reason at the right time, and that's what I tried to do. And I just lived with that philosophy that I always tried to the decisions I made for the greater good of our community. I kind of thought that's what our forefathers did when they formed the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That decisions were being made, and I always felt that if I recognized that something was wrong, then it was my responsibility to make it right. And so those kind of things I've kind of remembered over time.
So we have students here at Walsh University that are interested in becoming police officers, that are interested in a life of public service, maybe civic service. So what would you say? There's a lot of scrutiny involved with both of those career fields. There's times of, where your job is to try and keep the peace in times of protest, a whole slew of challenges. What would you say to those students who maybe are considering it but maybe have a little bit of reservation? Well,
I feel unbiased, but it was one of the most honorable professions you could have. And you have immense power, believe it or not. Because you are at a time you can't control the life of yourself or someone else, and to protect them and protect yourself. It's a challenging career. It takes a toll on your family, okay, and you have to have that love and understanding that are you being called to this, or is it your calling? Think about that. And I would caution new hires that again, it's a very rewarding career. Okay, and to me, it's you're that person who's going to protect other people at all times. Okay, and to keep yourself physically, safe and them. But I would challenge people about going into this, because you can be harmed. You could be injured, you could be killed, you could be maimed. Okay, there's that physical part of it. But there's also the mental part of it too. You have to be mentally prepared. That when you come into work, you have to put out, you have to accept those facts. Okay, you have to accept that, get over that fear. I'm not saying that I wasn't scared at times, because I was in some of the incidents I was confronted with. But if you're going to go into this career, go in with your eyes open, okay, and take the education that you have, but you're going to also learn what in the academy and develop your skills. And going back, you have to get past that sense of fear. Put it somewhere, okay, but you can't come
face your fear, right?
Yeah, face your fear. You can't come into work every day thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me today? No, you come in, you have a job to do, you have your zone to work, you're going to do vacation checks, you're going to be called, answering all kinds of calls. And that's one of the nice things about law enforcement, was you never knew what you're going to walk into. And I kind of like that adventure, but
it's never the same day twice, right?
It's never the same day, but take the training, get as much training as you can, get those skills. What I found that helped me was the biggest thing, I think, is being able to listen and to communicate with people. And sometimes we want to over-talk, But there's times where you have to take control, okay? You got to know when to flip the switch and say, okay, you're under arrest. I'm going to put the handcuffs on you. We got a job to do. And sometimes you can work through things. Crisis intervention now, we didn't have that in the 70s. Well, when I started working in the 80s, okay, as a police officer. I kind of learned that on my own. But now I made sure all of our officers have that sense of crisis and intervention training. And even as chief, I went back and took the 40-hour course that I had asked everybody else to do. But I think come in, with the idea that it is a public service, okay, and you want to come in, and it's a respectable job, although people may look at it differently, but it's a very honorable job and very rewarding. And there is a sense of camaraderie, okay, that depending on the size of your department. But we need good, honest people, people who care. You have to have a sense of compassion, okay? But also know, like I said,
that balance.
A balance. You got to flip the switch.
Yeah.
You got to know where this isn't going any farther, okay? As I ramble on, there's a book called Verbal Judo, and by Dr. George Thompson. And he was an educator, and he also worked, I think, as I recall, in L.A. as a police officer. But there was a section in there that I used quite a bit, especially when I was in some crisis calls, especially for people that were suffering from a mental crisis. And I like to tell them that, is there anything else I can say or do to help you make the right decision? And if you give them the ownership that they're making the decision, it can help make your job a lot easier. Primarily, some of those people were, off their meds, okay? Sure. And you can go down to the hospital for 4 hours, and we'll get you checked out, and you can probably come home. But if I have to commit you, you're going to be in there for 3 days, okay? So is there anything else I can say to do to help you make the right choice?
Right.
And when they could make that right choice, then things went much smoother. And but there again, like I said, over time, just develop your listening skills, communication skills, and that is, I think, one of the things that I really stressed with new hires was, do they have that aptitude to patience. There are times where you got to be patient, but there are other times you walk in a room and say, "That's it." You know, you got to take action. So, but and hopefully you have a clean background. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I say clean, you know, drug free, but in today's world, there are times where people have experimented. Okay, maybe with marijuana or something else, but. You know, we have to look at those things because you're going out and enforcing laws.
Right. You need to be.
You need to be
clear-headed.
Yes. You know, I interviewed a young man one time. He was cited for underage drinking at a university. Okay.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Okay. But I said, well, what did you learn from that? Okay. Because he was afraid that was going to hold him back. I said, you know what? We've all made mistakes at times. Okay. But if this is the only thing that you did, and you've realized that, because you're going to be going out, and you may be making that arrest for someone that's underage, or you know, and we worked through that, and that person was hired. Okay.
Wow.
But you know, it's all about
redemption. I love the stories of redemption.
There you go.
One final question for you, sir. What do you love most about your hometown, North Canton?
I think the one thing I really like about it is it's a safe community, and I still have a sense that we care for each other, and that's
can't beat that.
I don't think it can't be that.
Yeah.
People, you know, it's a faith-based community, and we have a lot of good things going on here. Okay, for our location in Northeast Ohio, our economy. Our schools in Stark County, you know, rate as in the state as good as any other county, but our little city is, you know, we're just under we're 17,000 people. We're just 7 square miles, and but you know, I think we still have one of my goals, challenges was how do I maintain or keep a sense of small town community, but yet. You know, having to bring in businesses to help support that. Okay, how do I balance that feeling? Because some of our legacies, senior people, kind of think that, you know, maybe we've lost that. You know, but I tell you, you go on a vacation, and you want to go to D.C. or Detroit or Chicago or, you know, Palm Springs, wherever you want to go. I can tell you right now. It's great to be back home in North Canton, okay? And surprisingly, we do have young men and women who now left school, maybe went to Columbus, maybe Cincinnati for their jobs. But you know where they're coming back to raise their kids? Coming back to North Canton.
That's so true. And I did that.
Yep.
I spent some time in California, came back to raise my family.
So I think it's a sense of community. And I think that's why people ask me when I retired, are you going to move out? I'm going, no, I'm not moving out. This is my home, and this is where I'll go and visit. I'd like to come back here. So I think that's it. We have a great university that supports us, and
swords up.
Swords are up, and I tell you, you have a dynamic president and wife. And I think that was all started when we both came in. I believed in relationships all through my career. And if I could share a couple stories here, a little bit off the track. I remember my very first year as a police officer, and I was hired in Brunswick, Maine. And I actually worked with my brother for about a year until I had to come back in 1980 after my father passed away. I came back to Ohio and got reestablished here. And I will say to your students here, it took me about 6 years to finally become a police officer here in North Canton, full-time. I was 36. And so it's never too late to start your career. I was 29 when I got hired up in Maine. But my point is, I hope whatever you do in school or here, you remember your first year. And I remember a lot of things from my first year as a police officer. But when I started here in North Canton, I felt that I needed to learn more about the community. And so I went to just about every EMS call or fire call. for a number of reasons. One, I located the address for the EMS, so it'd be easier for them. And if I wasn't on a law enforcement call. But I learned who lived there. I learned that, it was Mrs. so-and-so, or their son is a diabetic, or, this person has a heart condition. And that's how I learned the city. So I would go on those calls, and I always wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping in their way. But oftentimes, when you're the police officer and you're coming through that front door, it's like the cavalry is here. And you can see the relief off of people. And that, to me, was very rewarding to know that, oh, my gosh, someone's here to help take care of me. And whether it's, your son or daughter had their bike stolen, or, maybe there was a burglary. And that really is sickening for people to know that they've been violated like that. But it was rewarding for me, but that's how I learned the city, and that's how I formed relationships. And then and I think that's what I see with Dr. Collins and the staff, you and Rachel and all the others. I shouldn't mention names, but it's forming those relationships, and that carried me over, I think, into my career as a dare officer, and on into being a lieutenant and chief of police. And so that's what I found rewarding about my career.
Sure, because you're helping people, you're serving the community,
and you got to put yourself out there. Okay, so.
Well, on that note, I think we've just been so delighted to have you here, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us and join us. And I wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you at the Cavalier Soiree, if not sooner. So
absolutely,
don't be a stranger now.
Well,
don't be a stranger.
The Mayor's Cup is going to be handled by another mayor, but I'll probably be here for it.
Yeah, you can still come. You can still come and show support. So thank you again, Mayor Wilder. And that's it for Cav Chats today. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Stay safe. Keep well. Thank you.